Well, hey, everybody. My name is Robin Stern. I am your Google guru. Today, we're celebrating the Air Force with Joe Del Bagno. Welcome to another episode of Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. My name is Robin Stern. I am your Google guru, as well as the executive director of Be Better, Not Bitter, a 501c3 in Dallas, Georgia. Why do I mention that? Because today is National Gratitude Month, right? And at the end of the month, we celebrate the National Day of Giving. So if you want to give back, it's November 29th. That's a great time to reach out and support your favorite charity. So today we're here with, like I said, Joe Del Bagno, and we have got some really, really cool stuff to talk about with the thing he's got going on with CAJUN'S Dream. And I'm going to blow it if I try and talk about it before we get there. Anyway, we have got a lot of really, really cool stuff coming up in April next year. The cruise that's going to Puerto Vallarta from Long Beach, Puerto Vallarta, Mazatlan, Cabo, and then back, celebrating the National Day calendar days and months of Volunteer Month at the Casa Hogar Puerto Vallarta Orphanage, the Guitar Month at Cabo Wabo, Brunch Month on the at sea at the Green Eggs and Ham Restaurant, and National Prime Rib Day on the Carnival Panorama. You can get all the info for that at mexicobucketlistcruise.com. So today we're celebrating the Air Force, like I said, with Joe Del Bagno. First, we're going to cover a quick story about our friend Cindy Lee, the founder of Bucket List Coach Web Show. Born and raised in Northern California and now resides at the other end of the state down south. Travel agent, podcast host, and gratitude gift specialist extraordinaire. Her love for aviation began as a teen when she was living near Travis Air Force Base. Seeing that C-5 flying over is where her love for the Air Force began. And if y'all have never seen a C-5 take off or land, we were just having that discussion in the last show. It's amazing how they almost look like they're stopped in the air as they're coming into land because it's so big. It's ridiculous. But in her early 20s, she worked for the Navy as a ship fitter on a naval submarine. And then, of course, that was the year Top Gun comes out, right? And then Cindy loses her mind for the F-14 Tomcat, and it's all downhill from there. Huge fan of the Thunderbirds and the Blue Angels, and she's just a nut for anything to do with planes. If you talk too much about the big jets, she'll throw the plane porn thing out there and lose her mind. She loves the big planes. Anyway, so I digress. Today, our guest is Joe Del Bagno, a.k.a. Papa Joe, co-founder of CAJUN'S Aviation Dream. Bookmark that. CAJUN'S Aviation Dream, guys. You got to go and check it out. Some great information there and a really, really good story. So we're carrying on the legacy of Major Stephen CAJUN Del Bagno, making young pilot aviation dreams come true. The website is CAJUN'saviationdream.org. All right. So we're going to do a real quick video with Stephen on the 5 P's of success. Take it away, Cindy.
Well, the F-16 is incredible. We call it the Viper just because it's so highly maneuverable. And when you step into this, it's almost like driving a sports car. It turns on a dime. It's fun to fly. It's a great weapon system. And I truly love flying it.
Yeah. Right now, for the kids that are out there, they see the planes. They're going to see the planes all weekend long.
Yep.
They want to fly. What would you say to kids in school? What should they study if they want to be a pilot in the U.S. Air Force?
All right. Well, so whenever I go out and talk, I like to think of life as like the 5 P's of success. So find your passion. It'll give you purpose. Be persistent in your pursuit. Be personable, so humble, credible, approachable, and then it'll pay off. So if you want to fly an F-16 like me, develop your passion. Be persistent in that pursuit. People are going to tell you no along the way, and it's just a test of your resolve. If you really want it, go out and make that no into a yes.
Wow. Great video. So I'll tell you what, I really don't know what to say at that point, except let's talk about how someone can give to your organization and tell us all about CAJUN'S Aviation Dream Mission.
Well, CAJUN'S Aviation Dream is something that we set up shortly after his accident, and it was something that we wanted to carry on his legacy. So in the website, there's a lot of different things that you can get to. You can see things about him, like that video that we just saw. You can see things about the people that have gotten scholarships from us. And there are applications coming up. So in December, the applications start opening up for the different opportunities. So we have opportunities for discovery flights. We have opportunities for flights of instruction. And then we have 2 seats that we have at Oshkosh for their advanced aviation camp. And in the advanced aviation camp, there's a lot of different things that go on. So it's not just about pilots. It also opens the door to anybody that's looking at the maintenance side. So they'll do classes in finance, aviation finance. They'll do classes in flight. They'll do classes in, we've had a couple students that got into welding. So they open the door to a lot of different areas to give the youth an opportunity to kind of get their fingers wet and see if they like it.
Sure.
So again, within these scholarships, the applications again are going to open up here in December, and they need to go to the website, so CAJUN'Saviationdream.org, and actually do their application. The applications for Oshkosh do require a little video telling us a little bit of who you are, and why you want to pursue this. And then we go through a process of vetting and coming up with some winners. To date, we've had over 16 scholarships that we have awarded between discovery, instruction, and opportunities to go to Oshkosh.
Awesome. That's incredible. So is this open to anybody, or is it limited to people just in your state, or what's the
We are across the country.
Okay.
So there is, so Oshkosh is all about 16 to 18-year-olds.
Okay.
So you have to be at least 16 in order to do that scholarship.
Right.
The scholarships for discovery flights, we are open 14 and above. We have done a couple, like Cindy's got one of our discovery flights that she's gotten now. We are in the process currently of accepting people to go into the website and download one of the, we have a coloring book. So there's a CAJUN Aviation Dream coloring book, and they can download one of the pictures, color it, submit it, and that kind of opens the door for right now for an opportunity to get a discovery flight. But again, you've got to go to the website. You have to do a little bit of work, and it does open the door. And in this, we do have it open for this coloring book competition. We do have the door open for youth as well. So if one of the youngers, like 10 years old, goes in and does a coloring page and gets the award, not only does the child go, but the parent, if the parent wants to go to be with the child in the airplane. So we are taking care of that side of it as well. So it's not just, oh, my kid's going up without me. No, if you're under that 14-year-old window, a parent can go with you. And even at 14, if the parent wants to go, we will open the door and make that arrangement.
Got it. Well, I just wanted to show everybody real quick this coloring thing, because it's pretty impressive. So Cindy, I got it. I've already got it on my screen. So this is a page I'm right at CAJUN'S Aviation Dream homepage, right? So I'm right on the main page for the website, CAJUN'S Aviation. Just scroll down and you'll come across these coloring pages right here, and then you can click to download it. I really like what they did with the P's, the persistence, purpose. That's beautiful the way that was done. Whoever designed this did a great job. And I saw you showed us before we started, you just had a couple of those come in. And so that's great that they're they're stepping up to the plate, filling it out, coloring the pages, and submitting them, because it's a great way to engage. I know as a 501c3, it's tough to always know exactly what to do to make sure you get it all working and make it all happen and get the fundraising all done right. But this is really cool, and I'm really impressed. You did a really good job, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I got to give a lot of credit to my daughter, because she's been really on the back door and taking care of this behind the scenes.
Awesome.
So
awesome. So you want to shout out to her? Go ahead and give her a shout out.
So Jeanette, great job. This has been an awesome opportunity, and thank you for all you do for CAJUN'S. You're amazing.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Jeanette. You rock. Those pictures are gorgeous. That's just really, really cool the way you did that. Reminds me a lot of JJ, the jet plane going on there. The Passion one looks just like JJ. So it's old throwback to when my kids were little. So the donation, and I think Cindy showed us, you have right again on the main page of the website, there's a donate button. They can go in there and donate as well. There it is, donation form. So folks, if you want to make sure you get rid of that extra cash before the IRS gets it, National Day of Giving is the 29th. Let's step up, people. I'm going to throw a little side note in there as well. If you ever shopped on this little website, it's like some little place where you can buy some stuff like Amazon or something. I think it's called Amazon. If you've ever shopped there, please, 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 in the future, go to smile.amazon.com, because you can go to the same exact pages by going to smile.amazon.com, but you choose a charity. You do it one time, and then every time you buy something from Amazon, they will donate a portion of that to that charity for you. So it doesn't cost you any more. It doesn't take any extra time. You just have to go do it one time, and your charity will be supported. So I'm sure if you're a 501c3, Joe, that you're listed there as well. And my nonprofit is as well. So folks, do something good every day, not just on the National Day of Giving, and go to smile.amazon.com. But Joe, let's real quick. Any amazing stories you want to share about CAJUN? I know he did some amazing stuff. And every time I see any pilots, it's impressive, right? You look at the way they carry themselves, their stature, just extraordinary human beings, right? So give us a really great story about CAJUN.
There's so many different things. He was so passionate, and when it came to vets, he would go out of his way to sit and talk to a vet. They'd share stories all the time. And even when he was on the Thunderbirds, one of the things that they used to tease him about was they'd all come off the show line, and then, where's CAJUN? Well, he'd still be sitting on the show line talking to either a little kid or a vet and just sharing the moment. He loved to fly and loved to talk the story. My father was also Air Force, and my father had gotten cancer, and Stephen, on his way home from school, so it would be college, on his way home from college, he'd stop over there, and they would talk stories all the time. So they would sit down and discuss, some of the World War II adventures my father was on, and Stephen he's just all about that. And then one of the things that we were talking about earlier, you had mentioned the Tomcat.
Right.
Ironically enough, that was, again, Top Gun, his favorite airplane, right? So he had a box that he would sit in as a little kid, and he'd fly his airplane watching Top Gun. And as he got a little older, I don't know how many videos we burned up, because he would play it and play it and play it. And if you're going to date him, you had to sit through Top Gun at least 2 or 3 times.
Wow.
And, so it was quite a deal.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We would tease because if the Tomcat was still around, we think that the Navy would have won instead of the Air Force. Because he was in love with that airplane.
Nice. I'll tell you, the just in the little bit of time I've been able to talk to you and listen to how you talk about CAJUN, it definitely shows that he had a passion for like being in the moment and enjoying what he was experiencing now, not running ahead to the next thing, right? And I think that's where we all kind of fall down, is we can't just embrace this time right now. We can't just be satisfied and enjoy what's happening this moment. We're always anxious and looking ahead to the future. So that's somebody that's full of passion and loves life the hanging out with the vets and the kids afterwards, because it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
it's just the moment, you know. It's what we're here for. So that's awesome. That's great to hear. How about this? How was he an inspiration for the Marvel movie?
Oh, so the way I remember the story, again, Thunderbirds were involved, and the Marvel folks were looking for a little bit of help understanding the Air Force ways and some of their culture. And I'm not sure how the selection came about, but Steven and one of his other buddies at the time, Spider, was number 5 at the time. So the two of them were selected, and what was General Levitt was also part of that group. And so when they were doing their stuff, Stephen was, again, so excited about some of the parts of the culture, that he brought in the fact that they would play, what was it called? Oh, it was a pool game. It was, I can't think of the name of the game. And they also had the Jeremiah weed. So he went out of his way to go get some Jeremiah weed, bring it to them. And then they had introduced that into the movie. And the next thing you know, they were a part of the movie. And if you go to Captain Marvel, there's little snippets. They, I guess, call them Easter eggs.
Right.
And if you slow it way down, you'll get to the Easter eggs, and you'll see little things of where he was part of our scene. He was, they had other little things that were there that were highlighted. And at the end of the movie, true to a lot of Marvel, they go through a little process, and the last little bit is things about the next movie.
Right.
Well, at the very end, they dedicated Captain Marvel to him.
Ah,
so the movie was dedicated to him, and that was the very last slide of the movie.
wow. That's pretty tough. That's awesome. Very, very cool. Wow. I can't even imagine. He sounds like an incredible guy, man. You're a lucky man to have been the guy that got to hang around with him and raise him up to be who he was. Because I mean, I guess it's it takes an amazing person to make amazing people. I'm a dad of 3 boys. I understand. So the idea of your favorite aviation movie, then, I guess, is probably pretty moot point.
Yeah. And it was very interesting that a lot of his teammates, buddies, are still active. Some of them are not, but one of his Thunderbird colleagues has a business in Arizona, and it's just escaping me right now. But anyway, they're realtors. Fast Realty is the name of the company, and they invited us to Luke, and had a special little deal for us to kind of get to go on base, do some things to see where he and several others are still active as far as their presence on base.
Right.
And then they had a viewing of Top Gun Maverick where they rented out a theater, and all of the pilots were dressed in their flight suits, and we were all in the auditorium, and it was just amazing to be there with so many really, really wonderful people and share that movie with them. It was just an amazing, amazing time.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm grateful that you guys got to go and do that and experience that, and that you're carrying on his legacy and doing this amazing work that you're doing there. That's congratulations, and good for you. Good for you. So what about a museum that you really like, an aviation type museum or someplace related to aviation that you would like to mention?
Again, there's so many different things. We're hoping that the Thunderbirds get this new program that they're putting together out there soon, and that they get their new museum. And I hope that museum will rival the museum that's tied to the Blue Angels. So
Okay.
when we went there, Stephen was stationed out that way for part of his training, and he was always going to their museum and always going to the flight line to watch their practice shows.
Right.
And we got the opportunity to go a couple times there. And then the other museum that was up in Utah, I got Luke on the brain, but it's not Luke. That's another museum that was phenomenal. So those two museums are really a touch for us.
Very cool. Very cool. What about your favorite aviation book?
Oh,
Yeah. Not a big reader. That's okay. That's okay.
I really don't get into a lot of that aviation book. A lot of the times it was more just kind of older books that had all the different World War II planes in it and things of that nature. So there wasn't a lot of reading as much as there was just pictures of and little snips of what the planes were and what their purpose was.
Right. Right. I was telling Cindy in the last show that the old TV show, the Black Sheep with Pappy Boyington and
Yeah.
and that old thing. What was the name of that bird that they flew with the bent wings on it? That was quite an aircraft pre-jet
It
days.
was Corsair.
Corsair, there it is. Exactly. Very, very cool. Very, very cool plane. That's awesome. So so to close out, Joe, how are you going to practice gratitude this month? I mean, I think you walk in it pretty much every day, but how are you going to try and specifically, because it is gratitude month, it's November.
There's so much to be thankful for. And within that, just continue to touch people and share his story. Continue to thank especially the military for their part in today. So it's just, there's so many different ways to be thankful and be grateful, right? So again, the big thing is our military, just staying in touch with the ones that we do know, and sharing to others that, thank you for their service. Thank you for all the things they do. And there is a large portion of us that still remember and are thankful that they are putting forth their sacrifice.
Yeah. We have I'm a member of the Kiwanis Club here in Georgia, and we are going down to the Atlanta airport, which is the busiest airport in the world. And we have a spot where all the planes depart or disembark and come into the terminal. It's one bottleneck, and the USO gets a spot right in the front right there. And so we all go out there and we have water for them. And if they need anything, we take them to the USO lounge and make sure they're set up. And it's great to just see this swell of nationalism and pride when you see a bunch of soldiers come walking up that escalator and come off that escalator. It's very touching. So to you and having a son in the military, thank you for that. Thank you for allowing us to have him, to protect and serve us for the time that he was with us. And I'm just so deeply sorry for your loss, sir, but I'm really glad to see you guys are carrying on and doing something amazing with it. So thank you for doing that and sharing him with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have one son in the National Guard who's a reservist, and my baby who just started college, who is now saying he wants to go into the Marine Corps as an officer. So I'm a little blown away because he was never the one to say anything about being in the military, but Marines, okay. So hoorah, let's go. All right, Joe. Anybody else you want to shout out to before we head out of here?
I know Cindy's always asking me about swag.
Yeah, can we buy hats and shirts and stuff?
We are trying to put some things together. Unfortunately, we had a way to do it, and the companies that were helping us with it, some of the quality of the product wasn't measuring up. So we were trying to kind of get that fixed. We do. So here coming in April 22nd, we're going to have our one fundraiser, which is going to be a cornhole tournament here in Santa Clarita at Lucky Luke's Brewery.
Okay.
And so we've got some swag that we're putting together for that because we now are managing that quality.
Right.
So there'll be some shirts, some other variables, hats and whatnot that will probably go, we'll have there for sale, and then we'll probably have available to anybody that would like to purchase some.
Okay. There you go, Cindy. And then we got to get it on the website so Cindy can buy some.
There you go.
Well, all right, Joe. Thanks again so much for all you're doing, sir. Keep up the great work, and we're going to pop you out into the green room and wrap this sucker up, man. You have
Okay.
an awesome
Well, thank you
rest
for
of your
having.
day. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yes, thank you for having me, and happy Thanksgiving to you and Cindy.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Take care. All right, folks. So that is the end of our show and this episode of Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. So make sure you subscribe to the Bucket List Coach Web Show Live on YouTube for a free ebook on how to bucket list coach. So thank you, everyone, for watching today. Next show is on Wednesday, the 30th. Jeff, the pilot of the Yak 110. That's 2 double Yak 55 airplanes is one. It's a great show. You're not going to want to miss that. 10 a.m. Pacific on the 30th. And then Javier, who was on the USS Enterprise as a petty officer during the filming of the original Top Gun. This is one of Cindy's favorite people in the whole world. You do not want to miss that at 1 p.m. Pacific on the 30th. Okay, folks, that's the end of our show. Appreciate you all coming. We love you all. Go out there and change the world, make it a better place, and we're out.